So today is Sunday. We are gathering here to practice meditation. Before practicing, I just would like to inform you that after the half an hour meditation, I will be answering question and answer session on the meditation. So if you have any progress or any question to ask, whether you can comment or post on the messenger. So friends in the Dhamma, those who are locally and internationally joining us for this practice of meditation tonight. So we are all gathering here with our own faith, with our own motivation to practice. When we do anything, the first thought to want to do, to generate the first thought to do is not easy, but once it has arisen, then maintaining it is even difficult. Forget about developing it. So that's why some of you may have a thought of a practice of a meditation, and you have joined this evening session to practice together as a group. But maintaining this time of a half an hour to practice together, it takes quite a courage, endeavor, and energy. Some of you may have a first thought to practice, and within a few seconds or a minute you want to give up, and you don't want to practice anymore, so you move on to do something else. So that's why generating the first thought to practice is very difficult. Once we have generated this thought of a practice, continue practicing for, let's say, half an hour is even harder. So the Buddha always encouraged us to maintain that thought of continuation, continuing this thought of a practice, regardless of what situations we are in, regardless of how difficult it is. Because meditation sounds easy, but when we are doing it, tell you the fact, it's really hard. Some would say meditation is simply sitting comfortably, watching the breath. And here, watching the breath, again, even for some times, maybe, let's say 1 minute, I assure you that you won't be able to be mindful of the one breath, or this breath incoming in and outgoing for 1 minute. There will be so many other thoughts entering, so many thoughts distracting you. Even while you are watching this live meditation, you may not be able to sit still. You maybe want to do this or want to do that. And who knows, probably at this time of your listening and the thought of practicing meditation, you are doing something else, maybe chewing or eating or watching the telly or hoovering or reading a book or talking to someone like that. So that's why it is not easy. Easy said than done. So it requires a lot of energy, it requires a lot of faith and a lot of confidence, and only then we will be able to continue practicing. So to generate the first thought of a practice requires quite a lot of things. Let's say the faith and confidence, or thirst or a desire. And once we have generated this thought of the practice, continue practicing for, let's say, our session for this tonight will be half an hour. So continue practicing half an hour is not an easy job. And within this half an hour of the practice, maintaining your meditation, or let's say maintaining awareness of the primary object for throughout the time is not easy too. But whichever way you have joined us tonight to practice, I encourage you to maintain your first thought to join and continue practicing for this half an hour. Even though you may be able to watch the breath only 1 or 2 times, I encourage you to stay still, just in one position, in one state, in one place. Do not try to do anything else. Do not think of doing something else. Do not let the hinders hinder your practice. So dedicating this time for the mental cultivation by simply sitting in one place and watching the thought process, the feelings, and whatsoever. And it is not easy to watch the thoughts, and it is not easy to watch the feelings. So as a result, we have object to play with. So physical, empirical, or tangible object that we use it to begin with. And we use the breath related object, so in breath or out breath, or the rising falling of abdomen. And in order to be mindful of the breath or the breath related object, we need to stop here and now in this very moment, both physically and mentally. The temple where I was ordained as a monk, and in Thailand, Wat Phak Nam, you see a picture behind. He was one of the greatest meditation master. He taught, so known as the Dhammakaya meditation. His principle or main essence of the teaching is stop. And his teaching says, in the worldly life, we have to have the fastest vehicle to reach the destination. But in the spiritual world, Luang Por said that we have to know how to stop. So the very moment when we stop within here and now in this body, we arrived. So stopping is crucial in the practice of a meditation. Stop to be engaging into the past or into the future. Stop to letting the senses engaging. But let this mind simply stop in the present moment, here and now, on the primary object. Whichever object you have chosen, whether it's an incoming breath or outgoing breath or the rising falling of abdomen. To spend time observing it, mindfully aware as it happens, as it takes place, the way it is, naturally, normally. Do not interfere with it. But if you feel that your mind is really restless, agitated, difficult to concentrate or difficult to be mindful of the object, in that case, mentally, with your intention, forcefully paying attention to the breath. And each breath, when you take in and out, mentally, with your consciousness telling, I am breathing in, or breathing in and breathing out, or rising and falling. It is known as a noting, just to keep away the restless mind. And when you are practicing in this way, sometimes mind may feel some agitation, restlessness, and a pain or itchiness, and other distractions may come in those situations again. Rather than having any commentaries, simply recognizing that it is. Let's say it is agitation, then this is agitation. So recognizing it as it appears. This is agitation. My mind is agitated. Or my mind is restless. Or my mind is calm. My mind feels relaxed. Or even you can extend it awareness by, my mind is watching the breath, or my mind is watching rising, falling, and I am aware of that. The mind is watching this rising, falling. An ability to stop each time, each moment, each thing when it is taking place. Ability to comprehend that each time when it arises. In terms of the scientific research, we have found, or we have so many evidence of the benefit that one practice meditation. A benefit in physically, emotionally, mentally, and also ability to deal with the situations more wisely, skillfully, and attitude to the world is completely different. Scientific research on a meditation have also found that a person who is practicing is more positive to the things and have a good attitude to the environment than one who is not practicing. And there are papers also suggests that the restless mind always causes a trouble to make a decisions, and which also also affects as we grow older in our brains. But the practice of a meditation, the continuation of the practice, keeps the mind fresh and ability to deal with the different situations, because that time physical deterioration causes different types of emotions to arise, dissatisfaction, it's a boiling emotions, even dementia and sort of things may arise. But if we are practicing regularly, we will be able to deal with these emotions and even slow in brain damage. So it's not the practice that is purely for the Buddhists, although it has link to Buddhism. One who is practicing will gain the benefit of it. So simply aware of the in-breath and out-breath. Settling down, grounding yourself. Mindfully, with your consciousness, aware of each time when you are aware of these movements taking place, in-breath or out-breath, rising fully. Mind is away from the breath or the abdomen. Know that, my mind is distracted. Recognizing that and release from that distracted object and return. Return to the moment here and now on the primary object. Releasing the objects or distractions, which can be thoughts, emotions, moods. We are not generating a resistance or negativity towards it, but we recognize that in its true nature and simply release. And once released, before the mind goes to something else, simply return to the moment here and now, the home base. tonight's this is the practice, and I will spend around half an hour answering the questions on a meditation, and after that we will practice loving kindness meditation to finish it off. So if you have any questions in relation to the meditation, you can text now on the messenger or comments. As I said tonight at the beginning, that having the thought of a practice is not easy, but once we have a thought of the practice and continue practicing, even harder, or maintaining that thought of the practice is even harder. And I can see that many people finding difficult to maintain continuation of the practice. Nevertheless, I hope that you are practicing and getting insight of it. This morning I joined the webinar service in Nepal. There were three speakers speaking on different topics. It's quite interesting how deeply the Buddha spoken or recorded in the Buddhist scriptures about the pandemics. So Gautam is asking, while doing meditation, our attachment towards gain, sorrow, happiness decreases. My question is, does it also diminishes our want or a desire or dream of life? No. It will make more productive. There is a specific teachings of the Buddha. It's called the Itipada. And that will become a more stronger. So the desire, and here it's not a negative desire, it's a chanda, means the willing to develop, willing to improve. So with the mindfulness meditation or the practice of a meditation, you will have a clear understanding of your wish or your desire, what you want to be. And with that, you are putting all your efforts to get the success. And what will happen is that you will put all your effort and nothing you haven't done to make it work. And that is known as the virya. So you put all the efforts towards the successful of your dreams or achieving your dreams. And not only that, mindful or meditation helps you to be conscious about your own thoughts and environments. You will be checking surroundings, and you become a wiser. So because sometimes, despite of how hard we try to achieve our success, our achievements, due to the certain changes or certain environment or certain situation change, we may not be able, we may not be able to attain our dreams. So in that case, again, we have to have the so-called a balanced mind. There's a gap, and that's why I normally introduce that we always keep a small gap for the failure. So then we already know that, I already knew that there is a possibility of a failure. Then that is called the wisdom part. Now you have a wisdom to deal with that situation, and we will not be disappointed of that failure, and you will have even a more confidence in it. So that's why meditation helps you to be more focused, and as well as give you a wisdom to accept the failure in case if it happens. Okay, so meditation will not diminish for the achievement of your dream or your desire to be. In fact, it makes you more into that path to achieving that goal. So while I'm waiting for any questions to come, I was telling that this morning I was listening the webinar seminar from Nepal, and it's about the pandemic, and so interesting to know that Venerable Sankitcha explained this so-called Ahivataka, the Indian scriptures, and after hearing his talk I realized that Buddhist scripture talks about this pandemic so widely and so vividly, so many examples, and meanwhile there are ways to deal with that which now we are dealing with, and those guidelines that Venerable Sankitcha was explaining, like social distance, physical immunity, mental strength, and then escaping, and those things, like isolation, these were already in the history, even the time of the Buddha in Indian civilization, or even before that. So Buddha was talking about those pandemics and all recorded in the Tipitaka. And meanwhile, Venerable Kandanya, he was also speaking on how to deal with that, and he was relating that since the human history we are so much related to the agriculture, and as we become more greedy and become more closer to the animals and misuse the animals, then gradually other diseases may come. So he was simply relating that there are so many, these transmitted diseases like AIDS, SARS, or even this coronavirus, believed that came from the animals and simply misusing the animals. So it's quite interesting, but unfortunately I wasn't able to listen all that webinar. We had a meditation this morning, which I had to attend and lead the meditation. So I didn't manage to listen all. So it's quite interesting, and I believe it's available on Facebook too. So it's nice to go and recap again. So I'm here another 10 minutes to answer any questions that may come. If you have any questions relating to the Buddhism or meditation in particular, you can text or text a comment, so we'll answer you. While I'm waiting, so just to give you information that in our center now gradually opening slowly, and meanwhile we are still working in the barn, but for these 2 weeks we will be cleaning the barn to use it as a place to ordination ceremony, to take ordination ceremony over there. And the ordination ceremony is taking on the 25th of July and Saturday afternoon. So we are having the 7 monks coming up from England to stay 2 nights. So whoever would like to contribute or want to be part of this auspicious ceremony of ordination, you are most welcome to be part of it by different means. And if you're thinking to coming, then again be mindful of this social distance. So this ordination is taking place on the Saturday the 25th finally. We were thinking to have it last month before the Vasa, but unfortunately due to the corona we were unable to bring the monks up here. So we have to postpone, and now the lockdown eased, and then hopefully we will manage to do this. And now we have organized the date, and the monks are ready to travel. So for the ceremony, and this is going to be our first higher ordination ceremony at the centre in Aberdeen, Scotland. In the past we did have a novice ordination almost every year, and trained here at the centre for some times, but now finally we managed to have this higher ordination at the centre. Right, so another question comes from Gautam again. Presently we are doing meditation. What is it? Dhammakaya meditation or Anapana or Vipassana? Right. So the present meditation is, I do not have any specific meditation technique I have mentioned here, but I am more confident with I'm more confident with the Anapanasati and rising falling of abdomen. And although I have practiced the Dhammakaya meditation and other techniques, but I do not feel comfortable leading. So as a result, in my guidance, one will find that I'm focusing on mostly Anapanasati and rising falling of abdomen. Now, in terms of the Vipassana meditation, in my understanding, whichever technique you practice, once you have developed a certain knowledge, understanding of a mind and matter, and understanding of anicca, dukkha, anattama, and then basically you are practicing Vipassana. Okay, so you are basically practicing Vipassana. And I do understand that the word Anapana or Vipassana, why it's here, because we have this tradition led by late Achan S.N. Goenka. He used this Vipassana meditation as known as the Anapanasati. Again, with that, people have this thought of saying that Vipassana meditation is different than any other meditation. But Vipassana is basically a form of a realization that once you have practiced any form of meditation, you can practice the Vipassana. And that Vipassana practice is simply understanding the mind and the matter and understanding the anicca, dukkha, anatta. So it doesn't matter whether you are practicing Anapanasati or it doesn't matter where you are practicing any other forms of a meditation. The very moment when you can lift from this concentration or just the calming or focusing on one object to understanding the anicca, dukkha, anatta, then basically you are practicing Vipassana meditation. Okay? Because vi means visesa or visesena. Okay, vi means the very differently, in vividly and in a detailly. Passana means seeing. So you are seeing in different forms and different ways, in the details of each things, and knowing that is the Vipassana. Okay, so that's why whether you are practicing Vipassana, whether you are practicing Anapanasati or any other forms of meditation, you can practice the Vipassana. And which again, my guidelines, guidance on a meditation is mostly helping you to realize the Vipassana. We're practicing, in a way, it's a practicing of Vipassana on the basis of the calming your mind. Right, okay, I think this is the end for tonight, and I believe won't be any other questions now. So let's stop here, and let's do the short meditation, this loving kindness meditation to finish up. Right? So take your seats and comfortably and relax yourself. Spend a few moments on the breath. And spending a few moments on our discussion. And bring your attention to the body, aware of sensations. And bring your attention to your heart, feeling the beating heart. Physically smiling will connect you with your heart. So smile and feel the connection with your heart. And as you feel the connection with your heart is generating loving kindness and compassion. I am well, I am happy, I am at peace. And similarly, sharing loving kindness and compassion to all other sentient beings, whatever beings there are, visible and invisible beings, near and far away. May they be well and happy. May they be at peace. May no harm come to them. May no danger come to them. May they be well and happy and peace. May they be free from sufferings. So let's pay respect to the Buddha. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagavan Buddhaṃ Bhagavantaṃ Abhivādemi Savakhato Bhagavata Dhammō Dhammang Namasami Subhadivano Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅgho Saṅghang Namami.